It's capital
Capital A,
SIKAPE. Yeah,
capital A
capital
P.
APE.
Mm.
All right, so I'm putting for those asking, I seen y'all asking in the chat, but I didn't want to interrupt the brother. The brother's Cash App, Rod Hayes, dollar sign, capital SIK, capital APE. For those who appreciate the brother's work and want to send a donation his way, that is the way to do it. We're gonna get to a couple of Q&A and then we're gonna get out of here, family. But I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We got about 3,000 people. Thanks all of y'all for tuning in tonight and listening. Rod Hayes, what damn, I done forgot the question I was about to ask you. I had a question on my mind. I was gonna ask you. Damn, just forgot what I was about to ask you, brother. Let me get to some Q&A. I want to ask you about what's going on in Europe. We keep hearing about the earth changes that's happening, the downloads that's coming from the sun, the solar flares, this, that. Now there's reports in the news about over 1,900 people dropping dead in Spain because of the heat wave. What's up with the sun, number one? And what's up? What's getting ready to go down with this energy coming from the sun, my brother? Because this is intense right now.
I done an update on Dr. G when I got done doing a task for Big Mama.
Mm, mm,
Soon as I came back from the task, she called me when I walked through the bus door coming from the bus station. And I was telling her about the cycles. Okay, so the Piscean age was the silver cycle, or what we call a lunar cycle. And it is the cycle that facilitates what you call ice ages. We had more than one ice age on Earth, which can be confirmed by the geological surveys. And these ice ages come in the lunar cycles, but when the sun cycle come in, it ushers in what's called the golden age. It's called the golden age for several different reasons, but one of them is that the UVBs and the UVAs, right, that UV rays that's coming in is doing something to the DNA of very specific groups of people. And as the temperatures gonna rise, they can rise as high as on an average of 20 degrees around the world, or as little as 3 to 4 degrees. But it's a temperature increase that comes with a different exposure to the solar rays, and then there's another torsion field that we going through at the Aquarian age that also has a blue field to it, or a blue ray of light that serves the purpose of resetting our DNA.
mm.
And all of this is coming in at the same time as the close of the Piscean age and the emergence of the Aquarian age. So the temperatures of the earth got to rise, and everybody can't take these new temperatures because you're going to have South African temperatures in places like Europe and Asia where those temperatures are not common.
Mm, mm. Wow. All right, let's get to a couple of questions before we get out of here.
Hmm.
Let me see what's going on in the chat room. Somebody said ask about the explosion at the Hoover Dam. You know anything about that?
Yep, that was an energy weapon blast. It followed something called the sighting of Horus. I posted it on my Instagram.
Mm.
And the sighting of Horus was the rising of the phoenix, which is telling us that this shit is a rap, rap, rap.
Mm.
So now we got to brace ourselves for the shock and all of the sudden disclosure, because as everybody know, they got to tell us what was going on in secret now, because we going from that secret squirrel shit in the age of belief to the age of knowing under the Aquarian age, and all of the dirt that they did got to be revealed to the public, so that public will understand what's taking place and why we sending certain people off world to be executed as opposed to here.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Um, they're asking about your Instagram. One of your Instagrams got taken down.
Yeah, Instagram shut my Rod Hayes page down.
Oh man, damn.
All I got now is my Morpheus Mysticus Megas page.
Mm. Oh,
Morpheus is spelled Morpheus.
okay.
Magus, Magus, Mysticus, Mysticus, Magus, Magus.
Mm-hmm.
Morpheus Mysticus Magus.
They said, Rich, can you ask Rod about the Vatican? What's going on with the Vatican? I keep hearing about the Vatican. What's going on over there, Rod?
Those are it was it's closed. It's being all of those priests and pedophile priests is being rounded up.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing that for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had in the Catholic Church, they got a group of priests that's called the Purists,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Dr. Flager from Chicago, one of them,
Mm-hmm.
Father Flager, you seen him with Farrakhan before,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they believe in the purity of the priesthood is what upholds the integrity of their devotion to the Christ that they believe in. And they believe that the pedophile priests and the nun raping priests are pariahs to the priesthood and they don't want them there.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones who leaked the paperwork revealing the lengthy sexcapades of the priests
Mm.
from the inside. So they was fighting the same war from a different angle with never knowing that by they was only trying to do what's right, but they believed in a dogma that they didn't know was to use as an oppressive mechanism until they was too deep in. So once they found out what was taking place, because now they've been a priest probably 40 years, they didn't throw their life away if they don't find value in their discovery. And the value in the discovery is there's nothing wrong with living the pious life. And you can believe whatever you want if you strive to live the pious life, which means doing what you know is right in your heart. And so even though they was trapped in the monstrosity belly of the beast called the Vatican Catholic churches, they was the priests that was still trying to do what they knew in their heart was right. And that's what made them leak the information so that something could be done to clean up the Catholic Church.
Mm.
Not for the sake of the Catholic Church, but the sake of the purity of those who choose the lifestyle of priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got different types of priests,
Mm-hmm.
right? You like this, like Credo Mutua was a priest, a shaman,
Right, 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 right.
right? Dr. Sabi is a priest,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's a holistic priest. In our culture, that's what they do. They try to teach you how to find balance with the world around you so that you don't have those things distracting you from your higher thinking, which is going to give you access to living your best life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. They want to know, Rod, how to open ourselves to downloads. You talked about these downloads from Big Mama. How to open ourselves to them.
Well, I give out a couple of suggestions on this. One is to do a body cleanse of your major filters, like your kidneys,
Mm.
your liver and gallbladder, and your intestines. Do a heavy metal cleanse, um, and take spirit baths.
Mm.
Right? It's a book called 105 Spirit Baths, and you can add your own touch to the spirit bath to make the energy more potent. Right? So, from the energy baths, practice grounding to the earth, especially for the women,
Mm,
because now they becoming a Tesla coil, so to speak.
mm,
With so they syncing up. This is called the Sybil effect.
mm,
The sisters are syncing up in order to answer the grievances according to the Akashic record and to mete out justice according to the laws of Mott,
mm,
right? Taking no revenge, but sparing no vengeance,
mm,
right? So they said a double edged sword, which cuts both ways. It cuts to tell the truth and it cuts down the liar,
mm.
right? So we I'm getting off track here. Brain firing too fast. I can't keep up. But the double edged sword is the speaking of the truth that cuts two ways. And when you that's a communication technique. So when you see the language, you also see what's called double speak. Double speak reveals the forked tongue liar.
Mm, mm,
But you don't know his language, you can't reveal him
mm,
because you don't know his language. Once you know his language, then you can reveal him,
mm,
right? Because you can show the secret that was kept in the pale face with forked tongue.
mm.
That means he was speaking on behalf of somebody else, but he was saying what they told him to say,
Right, right, right.
right? We call it talking out both sides of your neck.
But you're right. That's what we call it. That's exactly what we call it. Let's do one more question, yo. Then we're gonna get out of here. Um, I just seen a question. Hold up, yo. What's the best method of developing the spiritual psychic abilities?
Practice, 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 practice. So you have to pick a training tool. The training tool come as oracle devices, tarot cards, scrying mirrors, runes, seashells. As you train to learn to read those things, you training to learn to read the energy that's coming in because the energy affects the oracle reading tool
Mm,
and is projected through your subconscious mind, and that's why you're able to translate it, right? So you get you a control remote viewing manual, and you learn the principles of control remote viewing, um, and then you practice on your own time. Don't nobody have to know what you're doing because you can do it all without saying a word,
right, right.
right? But you keep your own personal record so you can monitor your development,
Mm,
right? So you all of these faculties is natural to the human, and it was the Kali Yuga that allowed us to be subjugated and used against us and weaponized to oppress us.
mm, mm. Indeed. Listen, once again, Rod, I want to thank you for coming on here. I want to share your cash app one more time before we get out of here. Anything you want to leave the people with before we get out of here, my brother?
Um, this is the part of the game where we close out all of the contracts
Mm,
that's still extant,
mm,
right? And so we need to be watching for the sudden exposure of the revealing of what's taking place. Like they got a county, I think it's in South Carolina, right?
mm,
And the expectation is for that to set the precedent that's going to launch a wave of similar events happening across the nation,
mm,
right? And then we have to watch for the computer from the boy. I don't want to get too much more specific, but those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm
Mm,
talking about.
mm, mm,
So the son's computer is the catalyst. That's the straw that broke the bull's back, and it's being released in different forms. Some forms is parody in order to soften the people up for the full exposure of the content that's going to tie it to another file um, of another guy that's going to tie it to um, a lady from Arkansas.
mm,
All of it is a domino effect. And it's going to go all the way around the world with all of these resigning um, prime ministers and high ministers of the country because they was in on the corruption. And ain't nobody getting out here without paying for their dirt. That's the
mm.
bottom line.
It's the bottom line, huh?
Right.
Mm,
And so the verification been came in off the Blue Lodge on the Atone
mm,
to validate the claim that everything that I was saying for behalf on behalf of our people was accurate, and that I had got all of the tribes on the same page,
mm.
right? By following the instructions that all of the tribes gave in bits and pieces. Like I told you, everybody brought a piece,
Right, right, right.
right? So it's not me who really did it. It's them that did the most work. But I had to do the most work to get all of the works together
Indeed,
in
indeed.
order to see the big picture. That
Mm,
don't make me better than nobody,
mm,
right? That just make me had a different function in our for our people than say another guy that came up in our community.
mm,
My role is different.
mm,
So I had to do a different job a different way.
mm,
And the way that I done it was the only way that it would work
mm,
because of the patterns that's set in the holographic matrix. These
mm,
patterns is what we have to read in order to solve the problems.
mm,
So we collect the grievances in order to solve the problems of the society going into the golden age to
mm,
usher in an age of wellness and prosperity.
mm,
And this is supposed to release a lot of the previously concealed medical technology that the government was holding back from the people because they couldn't exploit them in the name of insurance,
mm, mm,
right? Like the Oregon and all of those different things that they label quackery is still proving to perform beneficial healing results. But now we have technology that's so much further advanced than they've been telling us because they've been getting the technology from our elders that came from all parts of the universe to upgrade Earth at the close of the age, the Piscean age, so that when we usher in the golden age of the sun cycle, we can come in with prosperity, high technology, and now we are grassroots, each one teaching one how to open our spiritual um, senses to receive the spiritual messages without feeling the guilt as if you are insane.
mm. Indeed.
We understand that the fear mongering and the insanity accusations was what was weaponized to use as the security defense for the system to continue to run their tyranny, and the people who spoke up became persecuted for speaking up.
Mm,
So the people who don't want to speak up in the interest of the people shouldn't be speaking at this time because now it's not about me getting my pocket fat. It's about bringing in global liberation of the people and giving everybody the opportunity to take the destiny of their life in their own hands and create their best life from the prosperity that we are trying to establish. that's gonna be successful because it already is.
Indeed. Thank you once again, my brother, for coming on the platform. Tell me your Instagram, your other Instagram one more time. Cause you
Morpheus Mysticus Magus. That's capital MORPHREEUS, capital MYSTICUS. Went off. How you doing, OG? Oh man, you know me. I don't got nothing to complain about except I ain't got nothing to complain about. I say. You know I can't. This is the first time I'd have been live on Instagram in a minute. Oh man, I'm just putting some stuff out here because a lot of she's been hitting me up and asking me about different little topics, and I wanted to bring them to you. I even brought the book, when Course in Session. uh, I've been doing my little research and wanted to bring some stuff to the tribe that I've been stepping across. Yo pay po yo te fe ta yo pay. So yeah, that's something that they found on the OMAC, on top of the OMAC heads. On top Translate. Yeah. So, and I come to find out this is from another deity called Yo Pay. Yo Pay. So I'm just studying. I've been tapping into this right here. You already know. And you know what, Stone? While you studying that, they got these archaeologists were showing Mayan um, symbols in Egypt, not over here in Kemet, over in northwest Africa or northeast Africa, in the pyramids. They showing actual the same exact shit that's painted in caves. I mean, not in caves, in the temples in Mesoamerica is also present in ancient Kemet. And they in what you call a conundrum. They didn't paint themselves in the corner that they can't get out of. This go for your foundational Black Americans, your African Americans, your ancient Egyptologists, your out of Africa theorists, right? Mm-hmm. Why do we put them in a conundrum? Because now they got to explain who put the ancient Mesoamerican symbolism into the Egyptian writings. They got to come up with an excuse. Since Africa was first and everybody came out of Africa, which is actually the reverse of the truth. When they was showing the Great Migration map, you know, they show everybody coming out of Africa, um, primarily in Eastern Africa, the area known as Kenya. And they used to verify, support, and sustain that archaeological discovery in the Oduwa Gorge of something called Lucy. Now, Lucy was not Homo erectus. Lucy was not Homo sapien. Lucy was not even a Neanderthal. Lucy was something called proconsul, a whole different genetic stock of biped hominids on the planet that, and then they haven't been able to, because of it, they carbon date Lucy's bones at 3.5 million years old. That's yesterday in our clock, but today clock, that's beyond antiquity. I see. Right? So they use that in something called the Bell's curve in order to justify the out of Africa theory. We ain't just out of Africa, we out of Earth. Wherever Earth got land, we was there. But we don't all got the same daddy, but we can all trace back to one mother. Let that sink in. Every what we call human being on the planet, they cannot trace back to one father, but they can all trace back to one mother. Science call her primordial Eve, mitochondrial Eve, because you trace the motherland through the mitochondria, you trace the fatherland through the Y chromosome. When you get to the 60,000 year mark, you start erasing Y chromosomes now. There's no Y chromosome, only one right now. At 60,000 years ago, there's one Y chromosome. I mean, there's one man producing the offspring with the women, right? Now, the he always call when I'm in the middle of something. I'm gonna have to call him when I get done. But look, they had to come
Your
to
phone went
a consensus.
down a little bit.
Let me go out and come back in.
Got you back?
Back.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, where was I at?
We were talking about the rhDNA. You were talking about the mother, one mother, the first mothers.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Now, the largest percentage of Y chromosome males descend from Genghis Khan on Earth. Now we talking about Y chromosomal haplogroups, right? The Anu in Japan do not have the same Y chromosome haplogroup as regular Japanese people. That means they don't come from the same fatherland. But if you trace mitochondrially, the modern Japanese people got the same mitochondrial DNA as the Anu. So we could trace everybody on Earth could trace back to one mother. I don't care what your so-called race,
I was
ethnicity,
about to hit him.
bloodline.
I was about to hit him with the receipts. The Qi dynasty, the Qi people is four different dynasties that ran north, south, east, west. One of the first Qi dynasties, and we reading the scriptures when they say Thoth is going. We're not listening to the scripture. They say Thoth wasn't from Egypt. He went to Egypt, but he came from what they would call Atlantis or whatever name they try to put on move Atlantis and everything else, right?
It's called the Great Atlan back then. In the writings of Thoth, it's called Atlan, Atlan.
The catchphrase was he's not from Egypt. He was from over this way somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that was dope. And then they just found this pyramid and this structure on the coast of Cuba, and it got
One of
Olmec symbols on that too. So yeah, oh yeah.
one of
So
them.
and keep going. I'm just letting you know you come because I was talking about I was gonna bring that up, but you on it already.
Okay, now, so while we watching the stage show, the political satire, politics is something called satire. It's a form of theater, right? But theater is called Hollywood in modern times. What they gave us for the Bible was a theatrical interpretation of pyramid text. The philosophical interpretation was given in the first century by the first century philosopher named Origen. Origen was a Gnostic writer between like 12 BC to like 60 AD, roughly. I don't have, that's not the exact dates, but it's that time frame. He was a contemporary to Cleopatra. He was a Greek temple priest that went to Kemet to be educated, and then he began to be write his philosophical understanding in for antiquity. Remember, back then, less than 1% of 1% of people could read and write. Let that sink in.
I see.
Everybody back then that knew how to read and write was under the well orchestrated control of the temple priests.
You good, Chief?
Yeah, that's that 420 chronic virus. But anyway, we get to talk about a lot of this stuff today.
Yes, sir. Man, I had a couple topics. Like I said, you jumped straight into it. That was going into. I was going to read some of these names out that they they contradict themselves, and we got to get out the habit of just listening to anything these people say. But they contradicting themselves because one second they say they have no written language, but then the next day they say that we gave them language, that there was the mother culture, right? I'm studying it, and it goes back to. I'm gonna give you the exact languages to go to. Po two, pure one, obedient to the law. Tatatu, two jaguar paw, one who is a supporter of the mystic order and obedient to the law. Po B, one pure. Po Befe, two jaguar paw, and it's just breaking these names down. It's on the top of they kufis. You feel me? It's breaking down. It's breaking it down in so many different ways that they'll try to cover up, and they hoping you're not reading and paying attention to these symbols. But they answers put it right there in our face. They covered it up. They try to hide it and destroy the noses, and that's another telltale sign. But they're telling you who they are because what they just read off was if you're familiar with like you always say the Congo, right? The Congo's Mississippi River, right? And their Congo, everything is the same. It's a mirror reflection. Their
There you
temples of
go.
Python in Dahomey over there is our temple of the Python of Quetzalcoatl here. And I don't know how or like their biggest thing is to divide everything and make us hate ourselves. But it's that was that stonework right there. There's the scrolls, and they'll argue with that. They'll look at they have these notes, and then they'll turn around and disregard everything they say. They say, how did they build a pyramid? They said Le Mbe, one who erect existence, erected stone deities. They say that in every culture, every religion. That stone or Nephilim, they literally break this down in the Pole Vuh and all these different things, and they refuse to look at that, and they'll even disrespect their own God, refusing to acknowledge that all their gods were black. Quetzalcoatl, Cocopele, to name a few of them, but all their deities down there, their origins are black, but yet they'll disrespect their own God. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
But the Chi dynasty goes from a place, I think Dahomey, Egypt, Mexico, Chi dynasty, because they're not calling themselves Olmec back then. It's Xi. Chi. It's pronounced Chi.
G.
Yeah,
G.
Chi dynasty in
G.
China.
G.
Yeah, the Chi. You know what I'm saying? They got statues of these brothers meditating, doing yoga, doing all these amazing things, and they covered all that up. Every single one of them Olmec statues have braids and locks, and they only show you what they want to show y'all. They're literally like trying to repurpose creation and time and everything, and it ain't that deep. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but now you got a cell phone. We can look up anything. We can call the museums and get them to fax you anything. You see what I'm saying? They're giving us the symbols, and those symbols are the same. El Rey, the king, so you don't think I'm playing? It just says the Popo Vu right here. His name's El Rey. We're talking about Mansa Abukari
Do
the
you
second.
remember? Do you remember? I did a couple shows, and I was like, when we see somebody and they name Ray Ray or Sunny Boy or Sun
Yeah,
Sun, them baby chiefs.
right,
This,
not Ray
this,
Ray.
read that name again in the translation of it.
This is the now. What I'm reading are the symbols that are the hieroglyphs, or they don't call them hieroglyphs, but the texts that are similar to hieroglyphs that are on the kufis or wave caps of
Right, but
these
it's
Olmec
the
statues.
name. You read it,
The
and
first
then
one, his name is El Rey, the king.
right
They got
now.
several ones called, huh?
All, now El Rey, the king, it ties back into the reason why we name our sons Ray, Ray, right? Uh, Raymond mean the king of the mountain. It's literally a two-syllable word, Ray and mound.
See, you catching me? I was about to get on to that next because it's leading into that. It was about to lead into the pyramids under the water, the whole pyramid wars. Go ahead.
Okay, now you mentioned the pyramids under the water. I'm just gonna say Saint Bernard Parish, and then I'm gonna do like that brother say, look it up.
Yes, sir. Say it one more time.
It's Saint Bernard Parish,
That's Louisiana.
New
There you
Orleans. It's the part of New Orleans that's no longer above water. I can show you better than I can
go.
tell you. You know I can show you.
I'm letting you go because we got receipts. They got pyramid off the coast of Cuba up under the water with the same symbols of the Olmec that they date to 50,000 years. It had to be 50,000 years beforehand. So if you're saying, and we know that the Olmec or the so-called Z people weren't from there because they're saying that they were different from the other people in that region. So it's not to say that the Aztecs weren't there and all these other people weren't there, because they're literally saying they're doing business with other people. They're traders. They're doing business and trade and doing different rituals for these people. But they literally tell them one of them's name is Yo Master of Snakes. Again, it keep on bringing me back to when you don't.
Bernard Parish and you analyze it. He said 12,000 years ago, right? When did the Christians come over here?
Uh,
They came with Columbus, right?
I mean, yeah, 1492.
Okay, now 12,000 years ago, they saying that this city sunk, but don't know Christians get here until 1492. That means for about 11 and a half thousand years, nobody should have seen that landmass, right? According to
I was
what
about,
they're saying,
I was about to get,
right?
yeah.
So why do they got church steeples sticking out the water with the cross on it?
Come to find out, that's one of our symbols. That's one of our. Come to find out, the ancient cross thing, the serpent symbol. When you said that's why I threw out there about the pyramids, I was gonna lead to. I'm saying their names because I think it's beautiful. I just got up on the names. But the pyramid, the energy conductors, we got them all over the coast of Florida. I'm in Tallahassee. The pyramids are all throughout Florida,
Okay,
right?
but no matter how you cut it, they have to explain that away.
And they can't. And not only that, the connection between all these places with the Olmec. We got a pyramid out here in Turkey Scratch. They know had connections with the Olmec, but they don't talk about it. Just like you
Okay,
just
so
the old Mississippian culture.
yeah. Now the old Mississippians is the Olmecs. They are the Inca. They are the Maya, right? They got offspring like the Arawak and the Shoshone and the Shada and the Iroquois and the Washita. All those are offshoot tribes. The main root tribe, if you go and look at the map, right, and you look at the Mississippi Delta, the Louisiana Basin, where the water drained into the Gulf, right? You have the mirror of that in the South coming out of the Amazon, right? We got villages, monkey villages, to them the same Zinji, the same Ninji, the same niggas, the old Mississippians, because we wrapped around,
They got it.
right, the fertile crescent of the Gulf. But what we don't know is where the Gulf is. The reason the Gulf is there is the same reason the Mediterranean there during the Anunnaki Wars. They say it was a meteorite. It was a fucking bomb, and it was filled in by the excess water. After you bomb it, you create a crater, right?
Mm-hmm.
The crater fills in with water because it's below sea level. As the crater fills in with water, it forms into the Gulf in
Just
order
to
for you. Yeah. So they want us to believe that that stuff is just poofed there because it wasn't us. Can't tell me that. I remember doing the design for some of them buildings. So you can't tell me that we didn't have nothing to do with it. I remember designing it.
just on some Pastor Troy thing, right? When he said everything was vice versa. If it is their technology, like those people that are down there now says their technology, why aren't they maintaining it and why aren't they using it? That's the telltale. That's
Okay.
the same with the
Go.
Egyptians. The Egyptians say that's their technology, but they're the ones blowing it up because they are Al Akbar, right? And Al Akbar say no idols. So there was never a time, like you said, that could be their stuff or their technology when their dean says destroy it all. That's what they do. They destroy the notes, they destroy the faith because it's not theirs. They disrespect it. If that is theirs and it was out there, they would be out there, you know what I'm saying, still doing all that shit right now. You see what I'm saying? If it was if the people that's down there now, the Mongolians is down there now, If those pyramids was theirs, why aren't they living in that, inhabited right now
You
in
just
North?
said a key word. You said Mongolians, right? Do you know the what Genghis Khan was?
I don't know what war it was, but
This
there's been times where they've sent
this is important to know though.
get them.
Remember, I said 60% of all of the males Y chromosome come from Genghis
Oh,
Khan. That's active. That even include over here. They got a map. You can pull up a Genghis Khan's Y chromosome map, and they'll show you percentage of his seed in every land. That means that he was either marrying people from them lands or he sent children out into them lands to marry people, sons
right.
specifically.
And both.
Because you have to, because he's only spreading his Y chromosome, right? This is he's a major figure in the Earth's history. They said he had over 5,000 children, right? He had more than that because they didn't count children by concubines and maidservants. They only counted the ones by harem wives with tenure. They didn't count them other little brats, but they still got his genes,
Facts.
right? So now when we're looking at the Y chromosomes across the land, we're looking at how it's spread, right? Then it started to click. We begin to see it clearer. They told us the story in reverse because they told us that if you go look at the history of the Romans and who they was fighting, they fought Ottomans during the Turkish uprising, right? And the establishment of Turkey. They fighting with Rome. That's who their enemy was. The Northeast Africa is was all part of Ethiopia. What we call today Iraq, Iran, Syria, Pakistan, all the way into India. India was what they call East Ethiopia. It's just like Florida is the east land of flowers, Louisiana is the western land of flowers. By the way, Chief Warhorse dropped a major video. Y'all gotta see it, share it on her channel. She declared victory for the China Nation. And if she declare victory, that means all chiefs across the land can celebrate her victory and declare victory following her lead.
I say.
She also separated herself from New Orleans by paperwork because the China Nation had dual citizenship. She is the certified seven in the line blood chief, right? So when she giving this, she's doing for her tribe, but if it's righteous and it's successful, we all get to use it.
I say.
So if she declare victory, we all could declare victory. But you have to know what she's telling you in the video because she's not just declaring victory in vain. The victory is supported by the members of the local government and the old fallen federal government. They acknowledged her heritable right tracing back, I think they said 12,000 years. They acknowledged it through the government, which also is the leverage up to Empress Verdiasi's claim. So now you got two tribal mothers with tenure and fighting for their tribe. Tried, tested, and proven, and the enemy that admitted that these sisters was right. Now all tribal leaders that's understanding of what's going on can use that. Now, what are we supposed to do? All we supposed to do as the Braves, the membership of the clan, is to share it, share it, share it, share it, and share it. And get other people to understand what it means to the tribes. F what it means to the community at large. We don't care about their feelings. They didn't care about ours. We don't care if they get stepped on. We have to get back to what's ours. And what's ours is, as Elijah Muhammad say, be your own, accept your own, and be yourself. Right? And we don't have to negotiate, debate, and try to convince non-tribal members or supporters of our position. They gonna see in their eyes when it all play out. As Tupac say, all eyes on me, I say y'all eyes gonna see. When we understand what's taking place, right? Because most of us don't get it. We think we get it, and we still trying to prove the fraud. That stuff is right now. We done proving
Facts.
everything. We didn't prove it.
Facts.
We didn't show you where the lying liars signed the names to the lies that they told. We showed you why they confessed that they was telling the lie, trying to cover up a piece of the truth. This is why she talking about the situation with Andrew Jackson in the video, right? Andrew Jackson was instrumental in the Dawes role and the Trail of Tears directly. His name, because he had handlers, but his name carried that dirt, right? So the tribes that fought the system in the system kept the paper trail for the ones that was fighting the system outside the system that was classified by the system as the criminal element. You become the criminal element when you're not part of the invading force that's invading your farm. The invader got to declare you as the hostile in order to trick your tribesmen into believing that they doing what the rest of the tribes want them to do when they ain't got nothing to do with us. So they came in with their old Mutt and Jeff routine, good cop, bad cop. They send the good guys in that look like us, which was really the bad guys. And then they sent the bad guys in that didn't look like us, which was really just the pawns. We begin to believe, because the pawns kept the history in the forefront, that the pawns was the power players. We ain't ever seen the pawn be the power player on the chessboard.
When it becomes queen or hits the other side of the board,
I mean, he got to cross the finish line, then
got
he can
across the
come
finish.
back for everybody
Sir.
else. But when he come across that finish line, he got the option to become whatever player on the board is needed in order to help the rest of them get across the finish
I
line.
say chess.
Okay, now, King Arthur's sword. You remember that story?
Okay.
If you pull up the image of King Arthur's sword sticking out of the rock, it's at an angle. If you look at the cross in the stone called Mount Calvary, right? A lot of the churches have the same slant to the cross. The cross is a sword of war in the ground because the war was waged against the great mother of the earth. That great dragon we call Tiamat. Tiamat is actually the Kundalini energy that encompasses the world as the great serpent, the serpent energy, that serpentine fire, right? Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
There's two elements missing.
Water and well, I know water off top. What's the next one?
Ether.
Ether.
Okay. The ether is the chemical composition of accumulated love energy, referred to as or energy. in the ore energy, Dr. Delbert Blair reference, go check him out talking about the ore energy, is the original energy extracted from what's known as the primordial noon or the sacred waters of the womb of creation, right? The human being reenact the holy drama in order to change power from the unworthy to the worthy, right? So the great Tiamat, that great beast, the Kundalini of the earth, is going to tag, right? It's a game of tag now with all of the divine matriarchs, all the way till you get to the one who holds the blood right to sit on the sacerdotal seat of the earth as the acting and reigning Isis. A lot of sisters be frustrated because they think that they ISIS due to the Sybil effect, but they works and they deeds don't open the path according to the quantum of blood and mitochondrial positioning of the clans to seek them. That don't mean they're not great women. Everybody want to be the one until the one show they self, and now everybody envious because they thought they was gonna be the one,
I see.
right? So if you when you understand the old culture and the old ways, a lot of this modern stuff just fall off like a snake shedding the skin.
Yo, I'm about to hit you. Like I said, you really just jumped on my paper, and I was like about to ask you half of this stuff. Just to let you know, we will be taking questions. I don't want to cut him while he's like dropping it on us because sometimes you don't want to miss it. So we will take your questions in a minute because there's some people in the comments that I do want to address. But everything you just said was spot on. Even when it gets to the serpent aspect of it, when somebody said something about the idol thing, the funny thing about it is the Nagu, the Naga. Nagu is one of these Olmec heads. Also, when it starts breaking down verses of the Jaguar elite status, that's the status of it, right? And no, it's not idol worship per se. It's literally telling you what these people were doing. So you
Hey,
can't be like prove it, and then when it proves it, you be like, it was now it's idols. No, this was how we communicated, and this is how we've always communicated.
listen,
So, and check this out. You spoke on the serpent, John 3:4, Luke 3. This is several times in the Bible when God told Moses that he sent the dragon down here to punish the non-believer, and then told Moses to create a bronze serpent, and he said to cure you, you can touch this bronze serpent. So this is in your game is to divide us and keep us from even learning. They think that you worshiping the idol because you learned about something. How can I tell you the truth? We learned we learn the shit they taught us in the Quran. We learned the shit they taught
listen.
us in the Bible. So why not learn what they talking about? You see what I'm saying?
No,
And once you learn that the language that they're using is actually from a Twa. They got Twa civilization down there. The Twa people are not just also a Congo Bantu languages, and this is under the sound information of Cloud Winters. He's the author. Cloud Winters he's a good brother. I want to see if I can get y'all up there together because you and Cloud would kill that. And I also want to do a little honorable mention real quick before we get back started. Please check out Vicky Dillard and Dr. Pruitt because they're giving us a lot of information on a lot of different things too.
no,
So, but
Vicky,
yeah,
both of them, my girl. I
I know,
love both of them.
I know it. I just had to throw it out there because it's not enough of us putting information out there. It's not. We got a lot of people right now that want the spot so bad they'll resort to the same tactics, the same weird tactics that let's start beef in the community. Let's start drama in the community, and we ain't got to do that. Let your talent speak. Let your work speak for yourself because if we saying that this is what we are, they're telling you one who is the supporter of the mystic order, obedient to the law. The law said we got to conduct ourselves a little bit better than we're doing instead of talking like you got these little weird dudes out here talking bad about Rashid Jamal. He falling. Hadith say you don't never kick a man while he's down. You don't never talk against your brother while he messed up. You got people talking down against
Hey,
Bobby Hemmett, and it's
listen, hold on,
weird.
hold on, hold on. So pump the brakes. When you are in the position to kick somebody, you got to remember when you gonna kick somebody while they down, it's a good chance you're gonna slip, fall, and bust your own ass. Right?
You gotta always remember, Bookman, you always been overprotective of Tucson. Anybody say something about him, gonna automatically stir your ires because you have to be triggered emotionally for the resurgence of the Haitian Revolutionary Return, which is going to become the Haitian or Haiti Evolutionary Return. Y'all turning the energy around. He need opposition right now. He don't want it, but he need it. Why do he need it? He's breaking from under the control of the government war with the French on the Louisiana territory. He needs somebody to beat him in public to draw the attention back to him.
I say
And everything that look like it ain't for you don't mean you can't benefit from it.
facts.
I'm watching what's playing out, so I'm not saying that because
Yeah.
I understand the game, right? And if you are falsely accusing somebody from a place of ignorance, the only thing that you need to have in order for you to serve is the energy of love. If you're doing it from a place of love, whether it's for somebody you love or a principle you stand on or a value you hold dear, long as you're doing it out of love, you can be misguided. That's part of life, right? You are not punished for what you do out of love. You only punished for what you do out of hate, envy, and deceit. Anything you do out of love, nature's going to find a way to use it for the greatest good of the collective.
I say
And a lot of the warriors don't know where to fight at because our enemy is hidden in plain sight. And then when we start realizing that the enemy look like us, but they ain't us, make us become suspicious of us.
man, man, look.
But if you know how to read tribal war dance, where sometimes you have to get flogged to bring attention to your plight. And just because you getting flogged, it don't mean you was wrong. And it don't mean you was right.
I say
But it mean that you was necessary for the moment to get this flogging so these people can understand that your situation, when they look into it, it ain't what other people think.
and I
Then they start seeing the whole setup when they go back and look at what's already in the public domain.
I say for real, if we gonna be about order and obedient, like all this other stuff, we can't be hypocrites. If we saying that you're standing on those Morse principles or any of those principles that we say, you can't be a hypocrite at all. And the hypocrite part is learn bless gospel of Barnabas. Blessed is he who learn how to walk by watching somebody else fall. Blessed is he who learn how to walk by watching somebody else fall, not kicking right down or backbite, because those are things that in Sharia or in the Sharia you could be punished by, right? So when you speak on master teachers, when you speak on certain people, and to make like right now, people are getting paid for views, so they'll say anything. But it's so much intelligent shit to talk about. It's so much shit you could be fighting against or fighting for than to put further kick down your brother. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you see that this is the year of the serpent, like Jesus said in
Okay.
rise of the serpent.
It's the year of the serpent, right? Serpent is a symbol for wisdom.
Yeah,
In the age of Aquarius, would all things be made known, right? We leave in the age of illusion, which was the age of believe it because somebody said it, don't check it out.
I see.
Don't be, look, if you don't got no opposition, you're going the wrong way. And sometimes your brother got to trip you to keep you from going the wrong way because you don't want to listen.
Mm.
But the obstacle is the way. If you're going the right way, you're going to experience some pushback. If you the enemy not gonna never stop you when he know you going the wrong
I
way.
say.
So if you going the right way, he gonna put every obstacle in your path, and sometimes he gonna use the ones closest to you to do it. It's your noble nature that's gonna override the negative thrown at you, and that's how you gonna come out on that golden horse of truth.
I see.
Let, let a motherfucker throw stones at your house. Just hope he don't live in the glass one,
I see.
right? Because everybody that throws stones gonna get stones thrown back. And if you don't believe me, ask Angel Bay.
I see.
And, and the people that thought they broke in and had their feet up on your couch, figured they was just gonna move in. This is eviction time. So remember, you gotta have a series of events that paves your path back home in order for you to complete your mission. Your mission not complete till you get back home. Let that sink in,
I see.
right? Once you get back home, now you can deal with everything from a place of comfort and perspective now. You don't know that you have opposition in your circle until you in a condition or position where the opposition shows its head, right? We watch leaders rise, but we don't never see the people closest to them as they saboteurs. We see them as their support system, and their support system got what's called a weak beam. It's an infiltrator in there,
I see.
right? So go back to why Farrakhan did not stop Wallace Muhammad from decentralizing the Nation of Islam before he come back several years later and start to rebuild it. Why he ain't stop him? Why he ain't just pick up and be like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we not finna decentralize nothing. Because they would have listened to him back then, but there was a problem. He had to get the infiltrators out.
I see.
And
And it's all.
then rebuild the whole nation back to its original glory, minus the infiltrators. And if they in there, don't worry about it because we know who they is. We gonna put them in a position where they hang themselves. You know, everybody is not playing the game on the same level. And very, very few people. I can only name about 5 people playing on Elijah Muhammad level in the history of America.
You know, it's funny, G. Sister Jada called me today, and she wanted to go on with brother Roosevelt, and we were going to talk about a lot of that stuff. They want to hit you up too, but they most definitely want to talk about it on the hidden keys and shit that was going on, and looking at shit on